this time, welcome. My name is Cafe. My aim is to offer you a warm cup of relaxation, tingles, and story time. And if this is one of many times that you've been to the channel, thank you so much for your support. I hope you continue. I hope I continue to offer you amazing content. And if there's anything you would like for me to offer, any form of a video that can become a relaxing form of content for you to help you fall asleep, please feel free to comment below. So today is dedicated to an amazing athlete that we all know. Actually, I'm going to highlight two: Naomi Osaka and Simone Biles. Naomi Osaka. Interestingly, she is someone who is also of Asian descent and of Japanese descent. And recently, instead of moving forward with the media, she decided to just take a break from everything, from all of the duties and the constant needs that are required for her as a tennis player. She just needed to take a step back. And then we have Simone Biles, who is a gymnast, an amazing gymnast. My goodness, if you have not seen her perform, I encourage you to just do a YouTube search to just see how amazing her form is. She's phenomenal, and of course that is my opinion, but I am going to give credit where credit is due. So both of them, in the peak of their career, realized that they just needed to take a step back, and I thought that they were prime example of it actually being okay to sometimes take a step back. Sometimes, and I think they say this American saying, a step back is sometimes a preparation for a comeback, because sometimes there are so many reasons to having to take a step back, and it is part of resetting your mental health and your emotional health, and sometimes physical health. And in Simone's case, I believe that was the case, and as a gymnast who does very difficult routine, I can only imagine the importance of the mind-body connection and how that has to be on. It has to be at its highest optimal peak. So with that being said, I want to encourage you, my favorite customers, to recognize when sometimes it's time to take a step back, and it's okay. It is okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It is okay to take a step back. You deserve a break from time to time. Of course, if it becomes excessive and sometimes debilitating, again, I encourage you to connect with somebody that you can talk it through with. It can be a mental health professional, or it can be that you are listening to some app that might help you. I know Calm, I know Headspace is good for that. YouTube has amazing other ASMR artists that can walk you through having this preparation to make a comeback after you step back, and giving you the motivation. But I do hope that this video will also give you that support. So let's talk about first why that sometimes we have to take a step back in the work that we do, in the school assignments that we have, in the community that we are serving. There are so many places where we sometimes have to step back to come back reinvigorated. So sometimes it's because there is a form of restlessness happening. There is so much happening when you are not necessarily well rested, and you may actually have access to those eight hours as an adult that you should have, right? So make sure that during the daytime you are taking the necessary break, but also not necessarily setting yourself up for disappointment by creating this enormous to-do list that you know may not necessarily get accomplished. So again, make sure you cut down on those to-do lists, on all those obligations you're putting in your head to do things, and make sure you relax. Sometimes it is important to really have a routine before you go to sleep. So maybe an hour before you go to sleep, try not to drink too much water, of course, so that you don't get up in the middle of the night. Make sure you turn off all electronic. And I know it is easy to just want to scroll to the TikTok, scroll to Instagram, scroll to Facebook, scroll to LinkedIn, scroll to Snapchat, and everything in between, because that brings some form of comfort. But let me tell you why that is not necessarily the best. The scrolling is a form of sensation and stimulation. You are going to see it, you are going to be triggered. However you are triggered, you are triggered. In addition to that, there is a type of light, unless you change it, and that light is called blue light. Phones, laptop, tablet, computer, they all have blue light, unless you go in and change the setting to take the blue light off, because the blue light will keep you awake. The blue light is created to represent and simulate the same reaction that you get when you see the sun. Because when you see the sun, many people automatically realize that it's now time to get up, rise and shine, right? But if you are in your couch, in your sofa, in your bed, under some nice sheets, in a nice fuzzy pyjama, then obviously you don't want to be awake, you don't want to feel the rise and shine. So if you cannot go cold turkey and turn off all electronic an hour before you go to sleep, at least turn off the blue light in your setting. Every phone has a different way, so unfortunately I cannot tell you or give you the direction, but I imagine if you start with your settings feature, you can do that. So making sure you do that, and then of course not having caffeine before you go to sleep. So no black tea unless it's decaffeinated. I don't know if you are a coffee drinker at night, but if you are, you may want to discontinue so that you can have a nice sleep, a nice 8 hours of sleep. Okay, and then you want to avoid any form of sensation that would keep you up all hours of the night. And then make sure that when you are, eating and keeping things in mind about your diet and how that can help, one thing you also want to do is try not to eat right before you go to sleep. Because of course, depending on your physiological state, you can trigger some uncomfort, some discomfort. You can trigger some issues that may cause you to not necessarily have a good night's sleep. And all of these contribute to having rest that allows you to comfortably step back and reset. So another reason why you should take the time to step back and take that break is because sometimes we have so much in our mind. Again, we have so much in our mind. And then because we become so overwhelmed, we then lose motivation motivation because we have so much to think about. We don't know where to begin. So it just absolutely makes sense to just drop everything and then finally take a nap, go to sleep, or just veg out on social media. None of that is productive, none of that is beneficial to you. And it is important that if you are getting to that point where you are dragging yourself because you feel like you are overwhelmed and you feel like you are actually at the point of being burnt out, one thing you need to do is actually cut down on all the things you are forcing yourself to do, because trust me, everything that you are putting into your mind as things to do, as things to complete, I can assure you that a majority of those things do not necessarily need to be done at the moment, or those are things that you can absolutely delegate or defer to someone else to do. Sometimes when we take on the independent mantra in life, it is debilitating because we then take everything and believe that we have to do everything. So it's not about, depending on people, but it's about the interdependence of the people around us. Because nothing that we do is without the support of people, even for those who proudly thought themselves as independent. So if you are finding yourself getting to a point of no motivation, that is when you are most likely burnt out from work, burnt out from your obligations, and you need to reevaluate what is important to you. But I also want to say one thing: you're not always going to be motivated. You are not always going to be motivated. So you have to also make sure that discipline is in there too. So practice discipline with the important pieces in your to-do list so that you can feel comfortable stepping back when necessary. Another reason that you should step back is because most of the time, not only are you feeling unmotivated, but you don't have energy. You are realizing that the energy level has dwindled so much. And that could be the result of excessive stress, leaving you physically and mentally tired. And that could be even after you have allegedly gone in to sleep for 8 hours. But again, if you are scrolling while you are sleeping, is that really 8 hours? That's something you have to ask yourself. And then of course, if you're beginning to feel withdrawn, if you are beginning to get cynical or maybe apathetic, that's when you also need to recognize that you have to step back and reset. So, in conclusion to all of my favorite customers, I think Naomi Osaka and Simone Biles really told the world in some form of another the importance of taking a break. Even the most elite athlete recognize the importance of taking a break occasionally. And of course, it's always hard. You always feel like there is never a good time. There is never a good time to pause and say, I'm going to take a break. But this is where you have to just take it. You may have people that object. You may have people that misunderstand you. Again, I have a great video on being misunderstood, so feel free to check it out. But sometimes they may even want to penalize you with some passive aggressive statements about you taking a break. And I think we can see that happening in the news. We can see some ridiculous opinion columns by certain journalists calling people quitters because they decided to take a break. And what you would have to do is equip yourself with the confidence and the ability to not necessarily pay people any mind when they don't understand that your mental health comes first. Because if you don't have your mental health, it will impact your physical health. And if your physical health and mental health are both impacted, you cannot get anything done at the optimal peak that you can offer. So of course, the moment you begin to feel yourself feeling a bit off, feeling different than you normally do, recognize that perhaps you may want to consider the process of taking a break, taking a step back, and then knowing if you need additional support to keep you on track, to recalibrate yourself, you do that. There are so many self-care routine videos out there. If you would like for me to do an ASMR self-care routine, comment below. But I hope that this whispering ASMR content around taking a step back and the inspiration provided by Simone Biles and Naomi Osaka will help you recognize the importance of breaks, taking it, owning it, and not paying any mind to the naysayers, because we will always have naysayers and those people that misunderstand what we do to better our health and to better our service to the world. If you like this video, please don't forget to like and subscribe